What is up? What is up? Yo, what's up, guys? Just gonna put this out here. Reacting to new Jon Swan and Def Noodles drama. Yo! What is up, guys? So, WillyMac released a video on Jon Swan that I want to watch, and DefNoodles is suing Keemstar again. So we'll check both of those out. Do you guys want to... Wait, I'm going to do a poll real quick. To ask if you guys want to cover Jon Swan first or DefNoodles first. But how are you guys all doing? It's been a while. I'm gonna have to listen to this while I'm out. Yeah, I mean, I re-upload the streams onto Bowblax beta, so you can always see it later. Swan? I kind of want to cover Swan first, too. Because WillyMac's video is 30 minutes, so we're probably going to be doing Swan for a while, and we can end it off with DefNoodles. I'm not going to be live for too long. I'm not going to be live for, like, the whole day or anything like that, because I have plans later today, so I'm probably going to be live for, like, 2 hours, probably, if I were to guess. Yeah, I'll just wait a bit on this poll. Wait for some people to crawl in. I know it's been a while. How have you guys been? I want to talk to you guys about something real quick before we get into this. For the hardcore viewers, will you ever be playing Pikmin again? 100%. I do want to switch my streams back to YouTube eventually. But my second channel, as you saw on Twitter, is demonetized. So I can't right now. If I don't... I mean, I could make, like, a new channel and try to get it to, like, whatever amount of watch hours and get it monetized. But that seems like a lot of work. Actually, I don't know what would be harder. Getting my old channel remonetized or monetizing a new channel. Bowblax 3 was monetized, but I privated a lot of the videos and it took away all the watch hours. And I don't know if they're giving the watch hours back, because I published them again, but I don't know if they're giving the watch hours back. Yeah, it seems like the watch hours aren't coming back. So, I don't fucking know. Yo, what's up, Ricky? What is up? How you doing? Me trying to create Bunty King drama again. Dude, there's been no drama, so I just tried to fucking manufacture Bunty drama. Can't say it's worked very well. Anyways, let's get into the Jon Swan stuff, guys. Let's do the Jon Swan stuff. Let me end this poll. How do I end poll? Alright, let's react to this video. So, Jon Swan, I imagine this video was covering what Jon Swan has done in the last, like, month or so. Stop profiting off of me. Oh my god. Dude, I don't know how the Ricky Berwick hater videos get so many fucking views, dude. Wait. It's just like... Let me go to like top views. It has 1 million. Dude, poor Tucker. Dude, do you remember Tucker? Dude, poor fucking Tucker. His argument with you got viewed by 1.6 million people. Dude, poor Tucker Vasher. Holy shit. He probably gets DM'd about that all the fucking time. That's insane. Yeah, rip Tucker. Dude, he's probably so sick of hearing your name. This one little drama. And this was like, this wasn't meant to be, this was meant to just be like, oh, a funny little drama on the side that happened. I'm gonna make a video on it just because I'm bored. And it like completely blows up. Poor Tucker. He's probably so pissed at me. Holy shit. I wonder what he's doing. We can check his Twitter. Let's see. That was insane, XQC. 0 likes. God damn. Well, it looks like he's doing good. It looks like he's having fun playing Fortnite with Code Tucker, you know. Alright. Let's watch this Jon Swan video. So this video, I think, is covering the stuff that happened in the last couple months. So not any, like, immediately new drama. Obviously, this video is sponsored by Scentbird. Sandwich Man. So, yeah. Let's see.
Welcome back to the Commentary Shit Show. I've been in commentary for a long time now, but I don't think I've ever seen somebody's career self-destruct as hard as Jon Swan's. I don't know what it is with bird YouTubers, but they're really starting to get on my nerves. And that's why I only tolerate one bird on YouTube, and that bird is Scentbird.
Oh, that dude, that's a good transition. Oh my god, that's actually really good. Did he pair Scentbird specifically with this video because of that?
Subscription service, and just like how Netflix lets you watch hundreds of TV shows and movies, Scentbird allows you to receive colognes and perfumes from over 600 brands, carrying everything from indie labels like Vince Camuto and The Harmonist to top designer brands like Prada, Gucci, and Versace. And ladies and gentlemen, look at these cool and stylish samples they send you. You just twist, pull out the perfume or cologne, and notice it's a lot of product. This is a 30-day supply. This month, they sent me Mercedes-Benz.
There is a lot of... Okay, I got sponsored by Scentbird. How long ago did I get sponsored by Scentbird? It was a while ago. What video is sponsored by Scentbird? I actually don't know. It must have been a year ago. I still have all of them. I still haven't used all the... Wait, one sec. Dude, I'm pulling it out, dude. One sec. Alright. So, I only have... These are only a couple. These four... I think I have more than this, but these four are just the ones I just immediately found. I still have all of them. Let me see if I can pull it out. Look, see? It's still, like, majority full for the blue one. I don't think I use the blue one that much. I use mostly the green one and the silver ones. Yeah, see, this one is, like... Still pretty full. I did use them. Oh yeah, this one's like almost done. But yeah, they sent me a lot. They last a long fucking time, dude. I don't even have like the monthly like renewal or anything. This is just the samples they gave me. And I still have them. And I use them like semi-frequently, so yeah. I don't know if that proves that they last a long time, or if it proves that I don't get out of the house enough. Probably both.
men, Tommy Bahama's Maritime, and easily...
Oh, Scentbird was banned in the chat because people kept fucking spamming, Scentbird's a scam, Scentbird's a scam. Because, like, I don't know, someone made up that rumor and people started believing it and it was pissing me off. I'll unban it eventually. Wait, let me see if I can unban it now. Community. Actually, I don't know where those settings are. Setting moderation. Let me see. Banned terms and phrases. There's a lot of banned terms. So many variations of the N-word. How many times have you guys said N-word? Oh yeah, Scentbird is... Scam? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude. Let's look at these banned terms, dude. N-I-K... Oh my god. Israel? Jewish question. 6 million. Sonic is bad. Yeah, Sonic is bad. What? Who said this? Wait, who said this for it to get banned? What? Who said this in my chat? What? Okay. I'll take off these two. What the hell? Okay, back to Jon Swan.
Easily my favorite, Tommy Bahama's Deep Blue. It's got that cool, crisp outdoor smell. It's sexy. Come on, you know I'm wearing this out with the lady. Whereas the Mercedes-Benz has more of a pear or cedar smell. If you're somebody that dresses up when you go to work or just meeting the family for a nice dinner, this one's definitely for you. They have these great brochures that come with the product showing you the different ingredients, the smells. If you find something you really like, Scentbird will remember your previous purchases. And if you're ever not sure what you're looking for, they have this unique quiz you could take that'll hook you up with the right stuff. And this stuff comes smell amazing.
Enough of this.
Thank you, Scentbird, for sponsoring this video. Now, where were we? Oh yeah, Jon Swan self-destructing.
I had a good take. I had a good take.
This took a while to come out after the latest Jon Swan drama, so I imagine the work put into this is quite extensive.
Who lied to Dream and blamed it on his 12-year-old autistic cousin that doesn't exist. Probably the most insane part of that drama was him reaching out to Bowblax, a YouTuber who openly talks about his autism, to try and get him to validate Jon's fake story. Jon talked with me in depth explaining how the 12-year-old using his Discord was autistic and exploited my knowledge of autism to craft a false narrative. I hate that I was used for that. He was saying stuff like, that's what an autistic person would do, right? They know a lot about technology, but not social stuff. Let me remind you, this escalated to that level because Jon decided to troll a 15-year-old named Harley by pretending to be Dream. To be honest, I really don't care that Jon lied about Dream. If anything, it's an interesting lesson on how a small lie can spiral out of control. What I do care about is his continuous malicious behavior, specifically when involving minors. 1 year ago, I made a video criticizing Jon for his treatment towards Pie Man, a 15-year-old YouTuber who struggled a bit with social issues.
Most, if not all my, close friends are people online.
Jon decided to call a 15-year-old a pedophile because he was flirting with a girl 3 years younger than him. He was blasting him on Twitter, writing, "How can you control that? Step 1, remove yourself from the internet to ensure that you won't fall guilty to the same urges again. Remember, you were being turned on by a literal child. Step 2 is get some kind of therapy or help because this can't go on."
As if children don't exist offline. What? Remove yourself from the internet to ensure that you will not fall guilty to the same urges again. What? Children exist offline.
Dude, Pie Man was 15. They're both children. Jon then goes on Pie Man's live stream to guilt the 15-year-old into thinking he did something criminal.
Well, I thought it wouldn't get leaked because I wanted it to not get leaked because I could tell. Out of context.
Dude, Willy's going hard. Is this like an overall, like, Jon Swan, like, complete kind of rundown? Because he's going fucking hard, dude.
Of course.
It looks
I
really
would want
bad.
that to get leaked either, Pie Man.
There's no build-up. It's just immediately to the throat.
Incriminating.
Can you imagine being a teenager and your cringy, flirty messages leak online only for your favorite YouTuber to pick it up and start going on a rampage about how you're a pedo? Now, I gave Jon multiple chances to fix this. First, I DM'd him, which he responded, "I stand by that 100%. I then made a Twitter thread giving him another chance to correct his mistake, where he proudly claimed him and Pie Man worked it out, when in reality, his apology to Pie Man wasn't that genuine. What'd he tell you?
Well, honestly, it wasn't really much of an apology. Because when he said, "Oh, can I post that we've worked things out on Twitter?" and I said, "Sure." I expected him to say something like, "Oh, me and Pie Man talked and we sort of worked things out between us." But then he said, "Oh, I apologize to Pie Man and we're all good now," and stuff. And I thought, well, saying that you apologized isn't really a fair claim to make. He never apologized for most of the stuff. He just posted on Twitter that he did.
Now, I was really hard on Jon for all this, hopefully making it clear that this sort of thing was not okay. Well, Jon hasn't learned his lesson, because 1 year later, Jon would do the exact same thing. It's beautifully stupid. Let's meet the players. Jon Swan, a YouTube commentator who continues to get involved in 15-year-olds' love life. Liz, the 15-year-old asking
This is
for
a
advice
really
on
good
a
video for
relationship.
people who
Tammy,
don't
the
know what's going
18-year-old who
on.
was in a relationship
Like a
with
fucking
Liz.
cold introduction to the Jon Swan shit. Like, if people ask, like, what happened with Jon Swan, which I was recently asked this by a YouTuber who's like, what happened with Jon Swan? Gave him a brief synopsis. He said it didn't even seem that bad. And in isolation, I guess it doesn't. It's more of just, you know, the lying surrounding it. But yeah, I would definitely have sent him this video if it existed at the time.
Haha, yeah, another 15-year-old Jon put in charge of writing a grooming document against Cammy. On the 17th of April, Easter Sunday, a document was dropped by the account Haha Yeah, featuring a grooming allegation between Cammy and Liz. It was titled A Message from Liz. And I remember just reading the first few paragraphs and getting some serious whiplash by how quickly the tone changes. I'll make this clear right now. He knows my age. He even asked for my birthday. Now remember, this is a 3-year age gap. I don't think most people would think that's predatory, but I'm glad he's checking the age. That's very responsible. He asked me if I turned 16 this year, and I said yes. I was really happy about me and him having birthdays in the same month. After I got happy, he called me cute, which made me flustered, because I told him I get flustered easily, which made him think that was cute. So the age difference is only 3 years, down to the exact month. Cammy, the older one, is asking all the right questions to make sure this is appropriate, and Liz is happy. So what's the problem? Well, listen to the tone shift in this next paragraph. Cam used me for his own sexual pleasure when I was in a vulnerable state. He knew what he was doing was wrong. Comparing
please show the edit after this. Please show the edit.
Oh, dear God. Yeah, because the YouTube community has an outstanding track record when it comes to this sort of stuff.
It's a hard knock life for us.
Oh my God.
Hard knock life for us.
Now, this does seem confusing. Luckily, Liz did upload screenshots of their conversations. And honestly, it just seems like normal high school relationship stuff, with Cammy even asking if she's comfortable with what's happening multiple times. Now, I don't want to show too much because it's embarrassing for anyone, let alone 2 teenagers, to have this sort of thing leak. But the question is why? Why did Liz feel like she had to make
Dude, can I say that it's so funny to see, like, people's flirting messages in general, number one, but number two, under like their YouTuber username, because usually you would flirt like in text or like some more private account that isn't like your YouTube. So it's just so funny to see flirting under like Cammy online and like the fucking, you know, avatar, like a drawn avatar or whatever, right? Instead of just like Cammy whatever in text. It's kind of funny. It's like seeing like, I don't know, flirting text, and it's just like Keemstar or Drama Alert. The Drama Alert account is sexting. I don't know. It's kind of humorous.
Why did she want to go after Cammy? Well, if you read the title of this video, you probably got a good idea. Jon Swan, after the documents released, was immediately posting pre-prepared memes about Cammy.
Pre-prepared.
Comparing them to Jeffrey Epstein.
Pre-prepared.
The 16-year-old would also leak that Jon was hyping up news of the doc dropping in Discord, writing, "Fuck, everyone's asleep. I have the biggest bombshell ever in the history of bombshells." Aiden responded trying to get the intel, and Jon replied with, "I'm telling people directly involved. You are not directly involved. involved, I've changed my mind, hence the private group chat. So hold on, let me get this straight. Jon is in a private group chat with a bunch of 15 and 16-year-olds planning to release a document about two teenagers sexting on Easter Sunday. That's fucking weird, man. May I remind you, this is the guy who told people to touch grass?
Hey, commentary community.
Oh my God.
I'm outside right now, touching some grass.
Dude, this isn't just like a coverage of all the Jon Swan stuff. He's adding the little memes in there, like, oh, he told people to touch grass, and like the little stuff that you don't necessarily need, but it adds some like more spice to the story, you know? More spice to the Jon Swan lore.
I think you guys could all take a little bit of advice from that. Remember, the internet isn't as serious as you may think it is. You may think a lot of the things hold more weight than they really do. Try and get outside. Touch some grass sometime.
Shut the fuck up. This document ended up catching the attention of Destiny, who after
Oh, dude, by the way, he is like going off point by point by point. Something I don't like about these long, like, kind of, you know, documentary-esque videos about certain creators and their drama is that there's like a lot of like fluff and like build-up, and it kind of, you know, that's kind of like the type of flow you would have for like a movie or like a documentary or something, so it kind of makes sense. I'm not saying it's bad, but I personally prefer when they just get straight to the point, like right into it, and Willy's doing that perfectly. By the way, something I noticed in the tags right here. Dr. Skipper lies, Dr. Skipper iceberg. Are we gonna get a Dr. Skipper expose in this? Bruh.
Criticizing it, linked it back to Jon. And Jon Swan, being the serial liar that he is, would go on livestream to deny everything.
What's up, Jon Swan? How you doing, my dude?
My name was like brought up here like a few times. What's going on?
You know what? You gotta respect his commitment to the act. Oh, guys, I got no clue what's going on here. Why is my name even popping up?
Were you involved in the creation of a document against Cammy?
That's a
I
yes.
wasn't. I was not directly involved in that.
I wonder if this is just gonna be about the. Okay, wait. He did talk about the Pie Man stuff, and now he's talking about Cammy. So I guess it's gonna be about everything. I was like, is this just gonna be about Cammy? But no, I think this is gonna be about everything.
This is a bold-faced lie. And what better way to get the full story than to interview Liz herself?
My friends, I told them about Cam, and they're like, "This is bad. Why aren't you stopping it?" And I'm just like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah, so you kind of were like talked into it because people were telling.
Cammy says, I did an interview with Willy, and we mainly talked about Skipper's involvement, but the interview wasn't used in the video. Okay. Oh, but you did the interview for this video. Okay. Well, that's good. Saying that actually adds a lot of credibility to Willy, because it means that he reached out to everyone, and he wasn't just, you know, reaching out and calling everyone for content. You know, he's not just trying to get the most content possible. He's just trying to get the side from everybody. And then if what they say is applicable to the video, he'll add it. But he's not trying to, like, bloat the video by, like, adding every call he had, you know, in regards to interviewing people. So it's good that he's doing his due diligence, but also not doing it only for the sake of making a video. Well, he did reach out to make the video, but, like, what I'm saying is, like, he wasn't just trying to get the recording for the video, he was trying to get the recording for correct info so he could make his video properly, if that makes sense.
Telling you that it was like a red flag or whatever?
Yeah, basically.
So what made you go to Jon?
I have a personal account where, like, I post about my mood and stuff, so I was kind of feeling down about it, because, you know, people kept on telling me about it, and I was just like, is this true? I don't know. So, like, A-Star hit me up in DMs and it's like asking me like what's going on, whatever. And so I tell him about it, and he's like, "Did you try telling Jon Swan or anybody like that?" And I was like, "No, should I?"
When you went to Jon, were you going to him for advice?
Yeah, adverse, yeah, advice.
Here's the amazing advice that Jon Swan gave her. Okay, there are two ways you can go with this. One I believe is a lot better than the other, but they both have upsides and downsides to it. Liz says, alright. And Jon goes, option one is you stay completely anonymous and you have someone else write a Google Doc on your behalf. Option two is you release something yourself, maybe in conjunction with someone else's document or with your own. What kind of advice is that? How is that the only two options? Okay, kid, you've just been groomed. You got two options. Option one, you write a document. Option two, you write a document. I could think of a whole spectrum of options that doesn't involve writing a Google Doc and posting it to Twitter. The most obvious one being to tell her parents. There's no way Liz's parental guardians look at this situation and go, you know what? I think the best option here is to take this to Twitter. Bro, this guy said he wasn't involved in the creation of the document when he literally gave her the idea.
Were you involved in the creation of a document again?
Yeah, wait, that advice that Jon Swan gave is brain dead. What? That's such like a YouTuber content creator mindset. Yeah, talk to your parents. That would be the immediate what? Yo, he needs to touch grass, bro.
Cammy.
That's a
I
yes.
wasn't.
I was not directly involved in that.
Oh,
at
God.
all.
To make matters worse, Jon would later admit in a call with Cammy that he never even read all the messages before advising Liz to write the doc.
I read the document in a call with a few different people, and there was a few DMs.
The worst part is Willy hasn't even dropped the bombshell that like Jon Swan was heavily involved in a document. He's still building up to it, but as he's building up to it, it feels like he's not building up to something because all of this is so bad, but you don't know that something worse is gonna come.
In there, and that sort of like made like that sort of like broke the narrative apart that you guys are like trying to like paint. So she was comfortable with this like a few days ago, and then she goes and makes a document about it. Okay, I think that's. I think that's.
I don't remember this message you're talking about.
It was. I mean, I can try and find an archive. Of
I
the
may
document.
not have. I may not have. To be fair, I did not read all of them.
He would go on to tell someone else that he only read about 40% of the messages because he wasn't involved in the creation of the doc, so he had no reason to. So this girl comes to Jon for advice on a potential grooming situation. She sends him the evidence. He says he'll take a look at it. Jon comes back later and tells her, this is grim. He's taken advantage of you. And then he later admits to the guy the document was written on that he didn't look at all the evidence. That is so fucked.
Yeah, wait, what the fuck? You're making a conclusion about someone without reading the entire thing? What the fuck?
May not have.
Although I think he's lying about not reading the entire thing. I think he did, but
I may not have. To be fair, I did not read all of them.
But it gets worse. You see, Jon was always a little bit worried that this whole thing could blow back on him, so he gave ownership of the document to his next best man.
I'm going to be honest about the involvement that I had in this was so extremely minimal. And the reason that it was so minimal is because I didn't want to fuck up something like this again. That's the reason I didn't want any involvement. I gave this to other people.
The other people Jon gave this to was a 15-year-old YouTuber named Haha Yeah.
I'm 15.
Did you write the doc, Haha Yeah?
I helped write the document.
Jon's like, I don't know. This situation, it's a bit too complicated for me. Let me hand it off to a 15-year-old.
I didn't go in and like
Oh my
change things
God.
in the middle. I didn't help them write it. Like anything that was significant, I did not have any involvement. Any edits I made were aesthetic purely.
yo, all of these Jon Swan call leaks helped Willy so much for this video. Holy shit. Just added so much extra fucking spice, dude.
Jon was pretty much caught at this point, so he had to backpedal his defense
What's
from
up,
I didn't help create the
Chico?
doc to I didn't write the doc. But as it turns out, he did play a role in writing it. He was just being such a sneaky little weasel, trying to hide it, asking people to remove his name from the doc, hoping no one would
Wait, he asked people to remove his name from the doc?
unfortunately remove his name from the
Did Jon ask to be removed from the doc? Yes.
doc, hoping no one would link it back to him. Unfortunately for Jon, Google Docs saves the names of everybody who makes edits, so we can see exactly what he wrote. And what do you know?
Dude, if he was smarter, he would have made the edits under like an alt email or something.
It turns out Jon did write pretty important parts of the document, rewriting entire paragraphs to make Cammy sound like some sort of horrible predator. Here's Liz's original version of that legendary third paragraph. After this continued, he made jokes and started liking it after I asked him if he did. He continued on and tried asking me if it was okay multiple times. He's aware of my age, by the way, so he kept asking if it was weird or not, and I told him I didn't think it was that weird. I really didn't think much of it. As he continued, he said he was very hard. You could say he basically told me he was pleasured by what I was saying to him.
Yes, I was told this yesterday. Jon asked Haha to delete the history on the Google Docs, but that didn't happen. I'm not surprised that he asked that. If he was more proactive about it, though, and wanted... That just proves his intentions, that he's, like, lying and stuff, but we already knew that. But if he was smart, he would have just edited the document under a different Google account.
Here's how Jon rewrote that. Cam used me for his own sexual pleasure when I was in a vulnerable state. Whoa. When did she ever say she was in a vulnerable state? And what about Cam asking if it was okay? We're just gonna leave that part out now? He knew what he was doing was wrong, comparing his actions to those of people who have been canceled in the community. He says how I made him happy. He called me cute. He said I was his darling. He made me feel appreciated and loved. But
he's adding a lot of, like, Liz's feelings into his version that she never even stated. So he's like making up feelings that Liz had about the situation. That's really weird.
All he ever wanted was sexual pleasure.
Like this sounds like Jon like being an actor or like making a fanfic, like writing a novel, like he made me feel so appreciated and loved. Bitch, you weren't the person who he was talking to. How are you gonna make up fucking feelings that Liz had? What? That is so fanficky.
He used me to get what he wanted. I'm ashamed I ever took part in any of it. Jon changed Liz's statement to make it sound as predatory as possible, leaving out crucial details such as Cammy asking for consent, checking in on Liz to see if she thought it was weird. Jon also gave instructions on the doc and DMs. I feel like the doc is missing a conclusion, kind of like something holding him accountable. The conclusion of this...
I've been told that Liz approved of these changes, but I don't know how true that is. I mean, that is possible, but... You know, Jon types down the feelings and then she's like, maybe I felt that way or whatever. Like, it's not coming from a natural place. It's like, he's kind of like gaslighting her into being like, you felt this way. And she's like, maybe I did. And then like approves of it. I don't know. Or maybe she just told him that in Discord and then he wrote based on what she was telling him. I don't know how the conversations went between the two. So this could have been what Liz wanted Jon to write. Like, Liz probably could have asked Jon and given Jon bullet points to write it down, and this is just Jon's interpretation of what she said. But I think a lot of these details is coming from Jon's mind directly and not as a request by Liz, or else Liz would have wrote it down initially herself, right?
This document is some of the most embarrassing shit I've ever seen. Obviously, the content of these messages are incredibly upsetting and disturbing. At the very least, cringe. Hold on. One of those things is not like the others. It is not upsetting, it is not disturbing, but yes, two socially awkward teenagers trying to flirt is cringe. But what is more disturbing is that Cam demonstrated multiple times that he knew what he was doing was wrong. Again, Cammy asking multiple times if Liz is okay with it or if that she thinks it's weird at any point is a good thing. I don't know why that's being weaponized against him. But he did it all anyway, setting himself up to continue this pattern of behavior if not called out. What pattern of behavior? He's talking to a girl. You know, normal people have a word for that. It's called dating. Liz met this person in a moment of personal weakness in the wake of a relationship that had ended, and Cam moved in to take advantage of Liz while ignoring everything that was so obviously wrong. This doc completely fails to explain what was so obviously wrong. It shows no examples of Liz asking him to stop, or that she's uncomfortable, or that she doesn't want to do it anymore. Even as this document is written, April 17th, 2022, Cam is talking flirtatiously with...
Sexting is cringe, but it's also only meant to be shared between two people. I think everybody knows, like, when they do sext, that, like, or flirt in DMs or whatever, that it is cringe, but just not in the moment between those two people. Like, I'm pretty sure people have that self-awareness, which is why they never want that stuff to get leaked, because it's private.
Liz and calling her cute. Oh shit, we better call the fucking police. There is no room for this kind of behavior from someone who wants to grow a platform in this community. This is the one part of the document I completely agree with. As commentary channels, we pride ourselves on being incel virgins, so even just talking to a woman should be enough to get you canceled. Let's bring it back to Jon Swan. This guy wasn't just involved in the creation of the document, he's the only reason it exists. Jon advised a 15-year-old girl to make a document and post it to Twitter without even fully reading the evidence she sent him.
I may not have, to be fair, I did not read all of them.
Jon Swan, who wasn't so sure he could handle this thing, then decides to put another 15-year-old in charge of writing the document for her.
I didn't want any involvement. I gave this to other people.
I'm 15. I helped write the document.
Jon then claimed he didn't write any of the doc. His changes were only aesthetic.
Like, I didn't write anything. I did not have any involvement. Any edits I made were aesthetic purely.
Even though the 2 paragraphs he played a role in writing are 2 of the most accusatory of Cammy. But what if I told you this somehow got worse? You see, leading up to the document's release...
This is brutal. Holy shit. He's like just concisely getting to exactly all the points that Jon Swan fucked up. Exactly going point by point by point. Just, not the whole story, but just recapping the parts where Jon fucked up, right? After telling the whole story. And then he says it gets worse. Bruh.
Jon seemed really excited to ruin this 18-year-old's life. He messaged big YouTubers like Dumpy, telling him that Cammy's a groomer.
Oh, he's
hyped. Hyped this up so much that Jon's friend and fellow 100K YouTuber Dr. Skipper tweeted, "Anyone want to reserve a seat for the shit show?" When the document dropped, Dr. Skipper wrote, "Happy Easter," adding Cammy. Jon Swan would tweet memes, one depicting Cammy turning into Jeffrey Epstein. Can you imagine these big YouTubers you're a fan of getting involved in your relationship life, tweeting about it, hyping up a document calling you a
that would
groomer?
be really weird. Like imagine, dude, like, even, like, for not a kid, right? Like, imagine that, like, I don't know. I don't have any, like, weird DMs behind the scenes, but let's just imagine, hypothetically, that, like, I don't know, you or somebody of our size or something, there's sexting going on, just normal, consensual, just flirting in DMs, and then it gets dropped, and, like, people call you, like, a pedo for some reason and make memes about it, but those people are, like, Keemstar and H3H3, and, like, it gets, like, and, like, Scarce covers it and stuff. It's just, like, because that's, like, because these are smaller YouTubers, and then Jon Swan and Dr. Skipper are bigger, so that's kind of, like, the discrepancy. Like, right? Like, that would be the equivalent of me being covered by Keemstar or H3 or whatever. Like, that's kind of the difference, roughly. It'd just be fucking weird, man. It would be fucking like getting complete, like, what the fuck? Like, getting an audience, like, 10 times the size of what you're usually used to with your own content, just having this happen to you, it'd be fucking weird as hell, man.
I respect Dumpy a lot here, because when
even if you're not younger,
like, huh? But Dr. Skipper, man, what is this? You're tweeting, promoting this bullshit, sending Cammy McDonald's applications.
McDonald's applications? Oh my god.
He's being such a pussy too. Instead of apologizing, he tweets, "I'm just going to keep making videos and keep my head in the sand. I don't even know what's happening anymore." You knew exactly what was happening.
He's going in!
You're only saying that because it started to blow back on Jon. You owe Cammy a public apology. This was messed up. Jon Swan, much like he did with Pieman a year earlier, would post a series of apologies.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet Willy at VidCon, dude. I hope he goes to the VidCon meetup. I don't know if he is. I think he is. Holy shit,
In
bro.
reality, it's just a bunch of lies and excuses. Jon, now in a panic, decides to call Cammy, leading to Cammy posting, "I talked to Jon Swan."
Yo, I hope Jon still goes so we can have a Willy Mac versus Jon IRL confrontation.
He and I talked things out, and he apologized. I can confirm he's not the puppet master you all think he is, since he's shown me evidence which proves he had very little involvement in the doc. I'd appreciate if you all leave him be. It's not even like an hour later when Cammy updates us. I deleted the tweet because I talked to people behind the scenes, and according to eyewitness accounts, I was lied to. Oh, shocker, whoa.
That's so fucking brutal. That's so fucking brutal. Oh my god, Cammy reveals that Jon came to him for to, like, keep the peace for damage control, and then deletes it later and says he's lying. That's even worse than, like, just condemning Jon Swan straight up. That's like indirect, like brutality, dude.
You have to be shocked. Now, Cammy isn't stupid. Cammy did record Jon Swan's apology, and he leaked it. In the 1 hour and 25-minute call, Jon does say I'm sorry, but he is always quick to shift the blame to Liz, making him
1 hour and 25-minute call? Jesus.
Self out to be the victim.
I feel really fucking terribly about it, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, short of just telling her to fuck off, I'm not sure what I would have done differently. Yeah, I don't know. I feel really fucking. I don't know how to describe this or put it into words. I feel like I
You
don't
got
know
caught?
why she just like
You feel lied to.
very much so.
LOL.
I don't want to victim blame though. I don't want to be like.
Yeah, that's one thing that I don't want to do either.
Bruh.
It's really difficult, man. I don't want to come out and say it's all her fucking fault because we do have.
You can
someone-
tell he's like calculating how to respond in his head, like like fucking dial up in his head.
Of accountability on our shoulders, but fuck me, man. She really had it. Like she had us on a fucking wild goose chase with this shit. Like from the
What? You gave her she came to you for advice because A-Star suggested it, and then you suggested to make the document. How did she have you on a string? What? You were like eager as hell. Like she gave you a string and you fucking yanked that shit, dude. You fucking wrapped that string around your hand, fucking gripped it, fucking added more fucking rope added a rope to it to help pull it in.
very fucking beginning.
Jon is just straight up lying to Cammy. At this point, we all know Liz didn't come to that decision on her own.
She did come to the decision on her own. So, yeah, this was when she wanted to go public.
Jon claims Liz came to this decision on her own, while the DMs he's currently showing is him clearly convincing her that she was groomed. Thanks so much, Liz. I'll take a look at these later. Referring to the messages between Liz and Cammy. Hey, Liz, I read through pretty much every screenshot.
Pretty much?
Because later in this same call, Jon tells Cammy that he didn't read all the messages.
I may not have, to be fair, I did not read all of them.
Again, he told somebody else that he only read about 40% of them. So I don't know, maybe he's lying again. I've read through pretty much every screenshot.
I can't keep track of what's a lie and what's not. He says all these different statements. I don't know which one's a lie. He's adding too many lies. It's getting complicated.
Really grim stuff. Really? I thought so. I mean, dude, that's you telling her that she was groomed. How does he...
I think Jon read all of it. I think Jon saying he only read 40% of it is a cope. I think he read all of it. I think he's lying about the 40%. That's why I think he's lying about. Maybe you guys think he's lying about reading the whole thing. Let's poll. Let's poll, guys. Which lie is the truth, right? Which? Read 40%. Read all.
Deny this. What's your goal with this then? I heard you want to go public? I want to, I just don't want to lose Cam. It's like I don't know why I'm so attached. I have major attachment issues and terrible mental health. The attachment with Cam is him taking advantage.
Yeah, I definitely think it's read all because he's using like the read 40% as the thing he's telling people. And whatever he's telling people to make him look more innocent in the situation is the lie. So I definitely think the 40%'s a lie. I think he read all of it.
Advantage of you. I read the screenshots. He initiated everything first. Only Jon could write that and then later try to blame this whole thing on Liz. Cammy then suggests that Jon should post a public apology for how he handled things. And Jon just ignores him.
Dude, after the dream shit, everyone wants a reason to fucking ruin me. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter whether I was involved or not. They'll want any fucking reason and they'll run with it regardless of what it is. Like... I really did my best, and I still fucked it up. So, I don't know. But yeah, people will just run with whatever. Like, it's just completely fucked.
Maybe, I mean, I don't know, maybe like apologizing to me publicly could be something you could do, but I don't really know how much that would like flip public. I don't really imagine that you care that much.
No, I do care. It's why it's why I called you. Obviously, I do care.
Mhm.
Like I care very much because I basically started off this thing and I was lied to, essentially.
No, you weren't,
Bro.
dude. I don't know how Jon keeps saying that. It becomes psychopathic at a certain point. Jon then tells Cammy to post a tweet saying that Jon apologized and that they worked things out, even though all Jon did was blame Liz.
You don't have to do this. You can. I don't want to like fucking pressure you into doing that, but maybe would you be okay with like saying that we kind of spoke and talked things out?
Yeah, sure.
Real quick, I want to recap one last time just so Jon's involvement in all of this is perfectly clear. Liz entered a
Dude, the fucking recaps are brutal every time he does them.
relationship with Cammy that had full consent from both sides. Liz told her friends about it, who convinced her that Cammy must be grooming her.
I've had people around me be like, hey, it's bad. And I'm like, are you sure it is? And they're like, yes.
A-Star then told Liz to go to Jon for advice. When she did, she provided Jon with all of the evidence, which Jon said he read, but would later tell Cammy he didn't. Jon then tells Liz that her messages with Cammy is really grim stuff, and that Cam was taking advantage of her. He tells Liz she has two options, both of which involve writing a document and posting it to Twitter. Jon messages other YouTubers telling them that Cammy's a groomer. He makes memes comparing Cammy to Epstein. When the document drops, people start reading the same evidence Liz provided Jon, and quickly realize that this is not grooming. In fact, there is nothing wrong with any part of the messages sent, yet the document frames Cammy as a—
I don't think I could have made this video better with all the information. The fucking repeating it and like bringing it home or with the recaps of Willie Mac, it's just so well done. I don't think I would be, well, I could physically be able to do it if I like, you know, if the idea was given to me, but I don't think I would have come up with that shit.
a predator who needs to be held accountable. Jon then quickly deletes his tweets, now claiming that he had nothing to do with the creation of the document.
Yeah, Willie is a really good content creator. He knows how to like present stuff in a really comprehensive way, which is a skill that not a lot of YouTubers have, even YouTubers who are pretty popular and make this type of content.
Were you involved in the creation of a document against Cammy?
That's a
I
yes.
wasn't.
Not to say that they're bad at it, by the way. I'm not calling anyone out. I'm just saying I think Willie's better at doing it than some other more popular content creators who make similar content to this. Not that they're bad, just that Willie is better.
I was not directly involved in that
Oh,
at
God.
all.
Even though he told Liz that was her only option, and then he put the other 15-year-old in charge to help write it.
I'm 15.
Once Jon was caught lying about this, he quickly changed his story to, okay, I was involved in creating the document, but I—
Repeating info is usually cringe, but the way Willie used it is perfect here. Yeah, it is. Like, it is a balance for sure. I think Willie strikes it perfectly.
didn't write any of the document. The only changes I made were aesthetic.
Any edits I made were aesthetic purely. It was nothing meat and potatoes.
Okay.
That's what I mean when I say I didn't write a word of it. Because I really didn't. Like, I didn't write anything.
It's then discovered that
Dude, what he should have done here though is he should have put like the edit from like Liz and Jon Swan like he did earlier in the video, like the comparison like he did here. He should have put that on screen just here. Just on screen. Just that's the only addition you make. Just because I think it's so funny hearing Jon say that while that's on screen.
It's then discovered that Jon was rewriting entire paragraphs to make them sound way worse than initially stated, even giving specific instructions stating that the conclusion of the doc should hold Cammy accountable. Jon, now being caught at every lie, every corner, then decides to jump in a call with Cammy, and even though he does apologize, he mostly pushes the blame on Liz, saying she lied to him when she didn't.
I was lied to, essentially.
He then convinces Cammy to post a bullshit tweet saying Jon apologized when really all he did was shift the blame, saying Jon wasn't involved in the creation of the doc. See, Jon wasn't just involved in writing the doc, he is the doc. It's so screwed up. How do you not feel for Cammy? It's bad enough to have your messages leak online like that, but to then have some of your favorite YouTubers talk about it, tweet about it, create a document calling you a groomer. It's not just the lying that's the problem with Jon. He's proven to be downright malicious.
So bye, Miss American Pie.
Pie Man. Yes, the 15-year-old Jon tried to pin as a pedophile 1 year ago. If you remember, Jon supposedly apologized to Pie Man, which Pie Man claims wasn't much of an apology at all. Well, as it turns out, Jon has held this against Pie Man and has been plotting his downfall for most of last year. Here's some of the leaked calls.
It doesn't matter to these people. They'll just keep on going.
Honestly, it's just cringe.
Anyway, if Pyro wants to continue saying that I never apologized to him, then I might need to do a nuclear moment, but I don't want to. I don't want to have to go nuclear, but if the opportunity requires
go nuclear.
It looks incredibly bad for him, incredibly good for me. There is almost no framing that looks bad for me. That call, it is
her whole ass
it's
server,
pretty bad.
yeah.
And we can listen to it later, the full thing, but. I feel like if we want to do this, there's only one way. You create a new Twitter account with a number that none of you have registered. So we get someone else to make a Google Voice number or something, and then we leak it through that, so it has no ties to literally anyone. And then we leave it for like ages, and then all of a sudden people start retweeting it out of nowhere. Because you could just say you found it.
Are there any YouTubers you used to have beef with that you are cool now? There's YouTubers I used to have beef with that I'm on neutral terms now. I don't think I've ever become straight up friends with someone who I had beef with, though.
Through like Twitter search or something. And that's probably the best way for you to do it. At least the way I thought about it.
So Jon Swan, the known liar, is planning yet another lie to try and get back at Pie Man. As for the apology itself, I have no clue why he would want to leak something that makes him look so bad. Just like the call with Cammy, Jon does apologize, but instead of just owning up, he preaches at Pie Man.
There's one thing though, I still don't understand why you sent that message, and you don't have to tell me, and you don't have to say anything about that. I keep on running through scenarios in my head about that message, and I don't know why you sent that, but I don't know, man.
I'm doing good. It's Nick. How are you?
That was still a fucking strange message, man, and I think a lot of us can say that was fucking strange. And then okay, so with the Twitter stuff, I did clarify. Okay, I will say this because the tweets are gone now, but I do remember writing a tweet that specifically said, like, clarified in clear, plain English, and it got maybe 20 likes or something, that you were not...
Reminds me of Loki from Marvel. I actually like that character, so... But I haven't watched that many Marvel movies, to be fair. I'm not really a huge Marvel fan. I think I've watched, like, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 movies. I watched, like, the original Thor. I've watched Thor Ragnarok. I've watched Avengers 1, 2, and 3, but not Endgame. And I think I watched Venom, and I've watched Deadpool 2. And that's it. And I've only watched all of those movies like once. Yeah, I think that's every Marvel movie I've seen.
Not a pedophile. I don't know if you remember that at all, but
Oh, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, if that counts.
I did say that.
No, I think I remember it.
Okay, well that's good. That's good.
Yes.
So that's one thing that didn't make it in your video, which I would have liked to see, but obviously you didn't have screenshots of it. So
I knew what was going on in Infinity War because I watched Avengers 1 and 2. And that's just it. Well, obviously probably in Infinity War there's like a lot of references to where the other characters are in the other movies, so I didn't obviously get that, but the core storyline I did because I watched the first Avengers, the second Avengers, then I watched the third. I haven't seen Endgame though.
I should have put it in there. I guess in my mind I thought you were, sort of speaking out of both sides of your mouth, saying I'm not a pedo, and like I believed you were sort of insinuating.
Yeah, I think the Marvel movies are just okay as well.
I heard from people that I know that you never really took a proper break from social media because you were still liking my tweets because I saw the notifications for them, and then you unliked them later. Okay? I caught you in 4K liking the tweets, a number of times while you were supposed to be on break.
You really got him, John. Great job, dude. Here's the thing. It's not just Pie Man John's out to get. It's anyone who calls him out. He's messaging people. All these guys just have vendettas against me. Jaco hates me because he betrayed my trust. Aiden has a grudge against me because he leaked one of Augie's things one time. That doesn't even make any sense. It's like, bro, if you want people to stop calling you out, stop doing shady ass shit. How do I wrap up a video like this? I guess if I were to give John any advice, it would be the same thing I told him 1 year ago. How about you stop fucking with kids? Be a goddamn adult. Like, dude, what is some of this stuff I'm hearing? You just spend all day in Discord talking to 15-year-olds?
John definitely talked to like a disproportionate amount of kids. I'm not saying he's like a
what?
But I think at the
The
beginning,
way
it
he
was
says
more
that,
like-
disproportionate
I think it was,
amount
like,
of kids.
mainly
Oh.
15-year-olds.
I can't think of a more sad and loser thing to do than watching porn in Discord to try and impress a bunch of teenagers.
He's gotta be huge.
Oh my
No,
god!
yeah, he is. Has to, right?
Oh god, yeah.
Oh.
Excuse me, with a blowjob load, so I can.
Brett, what?
Whoa.
It looks big. It looks massive.
Why are you doing this?
It's looking like 2 hands. Oh, it is a 2-hander.
A two-hander?
8-9 inches of that. Oh fuck! It's massive.
It's a large lad.
That's not even fully erect.
On that note, I want to thank
He
Aiden
sounds
Projects and
happy
Jaco for busting this
listening to
story
it,
wide open.
or
Plug
looking
for
at it.
archiving all the calls. I couldn't have done this without him. Anonymity, he really is this channel's secret weapon. And it turns out he makes great videos too. And of course, Mike the Bike for some of the parody music used here today. All right, Jon Swan, sing us out.
Just keep on talking line by line, 'cause I don't wanna say goodbye. Close your eyes and keep on talking line by line.
That's really good. I like this ending. The fucking, oh my god, I love these like little cinematic endings.
Shout out to the homies over on Patreon. Phoebes, Cursing
Yo!
Glass, River, Bletchky Goth Boy, Jack Mac, Christina Vina, Detective Pika, Mac Monkey, Drankobex, Bowblax, Necro Valley, Evan, and the mega homies. Reynold Hughes, Marissa
I'm
Lynn,
not a
IGP,
mega homie.
Ellison, Bold Boy Ajax, Yuri Kana Pog, Jason Johnson, Your Taxi, Spartan McCowell, Free
Papa
Spirit
Gut's a
Katie,
mega
Rory Loden,
homie?
Code 9, Papa Gut, and Run Ben. These are the people that allow me to make the kind of content I want to make without having to worry about YouTube's monetization system. Hey
You're welcome.
I just finished editing. It's not too often I finish a video and I'm still stunned by the incompetence you have to be to get in this situation. So you know what? Jon Swan wins. I'm done. I'm giving up.
It's feeding time and the Cobalt Cobra is very hungry. The dish? Cooked swan to be served to the awaiting Leviathan. Dinner
What the fuck is this?
is ready. Fuck Swan. I prefer Goose. This greasy John just sits on Twitter with a new Google Doc every minute. Oh, it's the same lie posted every time, it's just slightly different. Yes, how original. Subs up in the 6 figures and this Muppet still says other sections for his videos. Isn't it kinda sad that you had to crack cause you lack talent and apparently can't be fucked to ask? You just got
Guys, if you're not already, sub to WillyMacShow, alright? We gotta get him to 100k, like, within the next couple months. 100%. He's 8k away. Help him out. Watch his other videos. His Hassan one is really good. Or both of them. Watch his stuff, man. Does this guy have the Jon Swan song uploaded to his channel?
Pathetic is a word that describes the majority of toxic.
Oh no, this is just a commentary video. I want to see the song. Is there like a full version of the song?
Hello and
Not the Mike the Bike song, the one Anonymity was doing at the end. Like this one.
This greasy John just sits on Twitter with a new Google Doc every minute. Oh, it's the same lie posted every time, it's just slightly different. Yes, how original. Subs up in the 6 figures and this Muppet still says.
It says it's in the description. Well, it says Anonymity. I see Anonymity in the description, but not the actual song. Yeah, there's no videos here, it's just channels. And it's not on his channel. Unless he, like, put it in his commentary video, because it's just a commentary video. I don't know. Sub to Anonymity 2. I'm gonna watch this video by him later, because this looks like it's about more than just Jon Swan. I'm gonna watch this video by him later off stream, but you guys should sub to him as well. And I do hope he uploads that like song he made for WillyMac somewhere else. Maybe it is already up on like his Twitter or something. I don't know, but I want to hear that in full, so hit me up. Or hit us up by just posting it on this thing. Alright, let's check out Def Noodles. Alright, let's start out with watching... Oh, did I accidentally close it out? Let's start out by watching Optimus's video on the situation so we can get a rundown. And then anything he doesn't cover, I'll just fill in the gaps for you guys. Keemstar sued by Def Noodles.
Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we got a great one, man. This is a great story. I actually cannot wait to get into this one. It's kind of funny to me personally. So if you haven't heard by now, Def Noodles, the YouTuber, is actually legally suing Keemstar for apparently damaging his brand through defamation and slander. And to me personally, I think this whole situation's pretty hilarious because I actually
I do hear you.
Oh shit.
I can't. Oh,
hello.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good,
I'll answer in 1 sec. Sorry, just let me switch my audio.
Okay, we gotta listen to this first.
All good, all good, all good. Chat, let me ask the chat real
Well,
quick.
actually, I don't want to just stream snipe, because I'll just be like... That kind of feels like stealing content. I don't know. Huh.
Out to me and said that, you know, hey, I want to fight Ethan Ralph. You know, asked me for help to try to set this thing up, and absolutely, I'm down to set it up. After that, Ethan, you attacked me. Me and you went back and forth, but in my role, I have to remain neutral, and so that's what I'm going to try my hardest to do is just remain neutral and make this thing happen. But first, I guess for me and a lot of people out there, how did we even get to this point? The two of you used to be friends, and all of a sudden, you guys want to settle this in the ring? What happened?
I'm gonna play Sonic in the background while this happens. Just to make it a tad more transformative.
I didn't say anything.
He didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I used to work together. Basically, a lot of shit piled up over time until the end where Ralph called me out on Twitter about being disloyal because I was working with PPP, you know, Ashton, the news show Kino Casino. Ralph wasn't happy about that because Ashton and him have had, you know, like beef in the past. Ashton has talked shit about him, but Ralph started just like went on like a fucking 30-minute monologue about how he wishes I was dead and this and that and the other, and then we went back and forth, and it's been pretty fucking hostile over the last few months for sure.
Ralph, what's your side of events? Go ahead.
Well, that's his version, yeah, as you mentioned. Basically, Warski had been crying behind the scenes for a couple months. He did a Discord call with several of our like shared patrons or whatever, supporters of the show, where he was crying about not getting enough money or Ralph's not paying me and this or that. Of course, it got back to me because everything gets back to me. And so I already knew he was whining around, crying to mutual contacts and this and that. But since he's a pussy and a bitch, he never said anything to me, or even said anything beyond, you know, I'm dealing with some things and, you know, I'm not coming on the show because of that. And I was like, yeah, you know, hope you get through it. And then turns out he's doing a show with the guy up north. I'll censor it for you, Keem, since I said I would, as far as commentary on the channel. So that did come into play after.
Yeah, I'm fixing the Windows,
I was
guys.
critical about that because I already knew what I knew. So.
Yeah. All right. So look, is this real? Or do you guys really want to fight each other? Do you guys really want to take this to the ring, or is this just
100%.
online talking shit? Because
Dude, 100%, bro. I'm like ready.
Ralph,
I'm ready.
For you too,
I'm ready.
Is it serious?
Well, are we serious about it or not? Like, because if Boogie's involved, like, you know, the reason I was critical of you, Keem, first off, I have some reason. You like unfollowed me and was like really petty, in my opinion, over some shit I said about Augie, which I thought was like really lame. If you want to know the truth about it, if you really want to get into it. So I thought that was pretty lame. So I kind of lost a lot of respect for you on that. And then we're talking about fights and stuff, and Boogie's involved. It's like, okay, you know, what the fuck's going on? Then I don't hear anything about it for a couple weeks. I'm the one going out there.
Thank you,
because y'all are trying to frame it as I don't want to do it. So I have to go out there and be aggressive.
I'm debating like
because if
shaving
not,
my
y'all are gonna
beard
say
or
I'm
not. I
ducking.
don't know if I should.
So yeah, I'm aggressive. Why even involve Boogie in the first place?
Okay,
Like,
here's why.
really, like the whole thing is goofy. Like if you're serious, okay, let's be serious.
I got
Ralph.
a rebuttal to that, but go ahead, Andy, you first.
Okay, I'm gonna explain this. The reason I set this up was I saw you talking shit over on Twitter. People were like, "Oh, why don't you fight Warski?" And you're like, "He won't." So in my mind, the only way this could be set up proper and you accept would be if it was an event, right? So I had seen Sam Hyde called.
Or say, let's just fight in the street or whatever. I'm not fighting in the street. I do enough of that already. You know, that's just silly.
Well, that's what
anyway.
I'm saying. I mean, you guys could easily meet in a parking lot and do that, but if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it right. Do it at an event. I want it to be serious, and I understand Ralph's perspective of how it looked like a joke to him because. Let's face it, Boogie versus Sam Hyde, that's ridiculous. But part of the reason why I played around with that is because, one, I want Boogie to start training. I want Boogie to get in the gym. And it worked. He's in the gym. He is training. Will he fight Sam Hyde? Probably not. But we will find an opponent for Boogie down the road. Boogie won't actually be able to have a boxing match for at least a year from now. You know?
Fair.
So that's just, you know, a lot of that's just online, you know, figuring this shit out. A lot of these boxing matches in the influence boxing space, they get talked about, things go back and forth, but they never materialize.
I understand what you're saying, but then you have a lot of people trying to attack me and say that I'm phony and I'm the one bullshitting, and so then I have this Boogie thing. It's like, okay, well, no, that's not the case. Anyway, I see what you're saying.
I told Andy that I would seriously try to find a venue for you. There's many cards that I'm building right now in the influencer space that are just too big. They're high profile. There's no way that you guys, just because you're too edgy, you know, Ralph more than Andy, would ever like have an opportunity like that. But there's all these little cards that happen, and they hit me up. They try to hire me. There was one over in the UK, which I tweeted you about. I think I could have got you on that card. They had big interest in that. Look, I think your fight will sell 20,000 pay-per-views between the two of you. I think between your fans and your fan base, Jim, and everybody that's in this community, I think you're going to sell 20,000 pay-per-views, and that's a pretty decent, you know, payday. And this fight will get picked up. It's about finding it in the right spot. But with you being a felon, I didn't think you'd go to the UK. Regardless, I had them looking into it. And so they're looking up Ethan Ralph. They're looking up Andy Warski. They found a stream that you were just on with a female comic, I believe. And he clicks on the video, and you're saying, you know, homophobic slur. So there's a bunch of stuff we need to talk about. If we're going to be serious about this, and we're going to make this happen, and this is actually going to be an event, and you guys really want to do this from starting right now until we get in the ring.
Okay, well, look, I got a clip here with Warski saying the N-word 15 times in a row.
Exactly.
Back in the day, I used to say the N-word.
Let's not portray it like Ralph is the only, you know, crazy guy.
I'm not saying I'm clean in my past, bro. I'm not saying I'm clean in my past.
I agree with that, but I think all the three of us, we need to agree from this moment on until this fight happens, no homophobic slurs, no racist stuff. I mean, how easy it is to just take that out of our vocabulary. You know what I mean? To make to make sure that this fight actually happens. I want this to happen, realistically speaking.
So is Mr. Medicare listening to what's being said right now? I just want this to be clipped out for Mr. Medicare. So this is what you're saying. This is what he's a big critic of stuff like this, cucking your content. He tried to ruin Baked Alaska's life for censoring his chat. So I want you to repeat what your proposal is, basically.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be many people, especially in this community, that are critical of what I'm saying, but I want the fight to happen. You know, it's not realistically going to happen with the homophobic stuff and the racist stuff, and it's just not going to happen. I'm not going to be able to put you in an event. They're going to say no, it's not worth the risk. They got sponsors and everything else. So I'm realistic.
I mean, what you call homophobia and racism, I don't call, you know what I mean? Like when I was saying that the other night, that wasn't in a homophobic context. That That was me talking shit on a stream. I wasn't saying. I don't know.
I
don't
agree
know.
with you 100%. But that type of language, you know, these people that put together cards, you could be like, "No, we don't want them." And I just want this to happen. I want this to actually happen for you guys and for your community. So that's one thing. We gotta clean that up. The other thing is, I don't think anybody in this community wants to pay, you know, $10, $20, whatever the pay-per-view is, and then one of you doesn't train. One of you doesn't take it.
We can look at this later. I mean, this seems pretty straightforward, just like them debating if they're gonna do the fight or not. We can look at that later. I kind of want to look into the Def Noodles stuff right now. So we're gonna do that, and I'm sure we'll talk about the Ralph and Andy fight later on, like after hours or something. But I don't see anything like really worth reacting to here. It's just like them like seeing if they're gonna end up doing it or not. We'll figure that. We'll see if that's the case. If you guys want to go watch that right now, I don't blame you. But right now we're just gonna cover the Def Noodles thing, and I'll probably get off in like an hour and a half. So I was sent this tweet by Nicholas Diorio. It's Keffel's. Okay, so this is law.com saying, just in, Bond, Shunek, and King filed a defamation suit for YouTuber Def Noodles, accusing his rival Keemstar of engaging in a malicious disinformation campaign by claiming the plaintiff has engaged in grooming of minors. Keffel says this is how trans people should deal with being called a groomer. And then Nick says Keffel's sides with Def Noodles. Now, is this Keffel's directly siding with Def Noodles, or is this her just saying we should do the same thing, or trans people should do the same thing if they're called a groomer? But like, of just like making a lawsuit, like outside of the fact that it's Def Noodles. I don't know. I don't know if this is a direct endorsement of what Def Noodles... Because does she know, like, that Def Noodles doesn't have, like, a case? Like, I think she's saying this while thinking... like, if he has a case, then it makes sense to do it. Because I don't necessarily disagree that, like, if you're legitimately being called a groomer and everyone thinks you're a groomer and you're being like lied to and called a pedo, like let's say how Slazo was or whatever, that a defamation lawsuit is bad. But in the case of Def Noodles, obviously it is because of the facts that are involved in that. But if it was something more legitimate, like, you know, Slazo or something like that, I wouldn't say that doing a lawsuit would be the wrong move. I don't know. But yeah. Speaking of the Def Noodles shit, let's cover it right now, alright? So Optimus made a video about it. I'm going to watch it, and then I'll fill in any gaps
Alright, what's going on,
that he may potentially leave out.
Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we got a great one, man. This is a great story. I actually cannot wait to get into this one. It's kind of funny to me personally. So if you haven't heard by now, Def Noodles, the YouTuber, is actually legally suing Keemstar for apparently damaging his brand through defamation and slander. And to me personally, I think this whole situation's pretty hilarious because I actually remember the situation that kind of led to this whole thing happening, and I think that this is kind of a ridiculous lawsuit, and I don't know if this is even really going to work in court either. So this all started like a year ago, right? And so I don't even know if I want to start there yet. So what we really need to start with is Def Noodles, because he's the one who's suing Keemstar in this whole situation. Def Noodles has basically built this community reputation up as being kind of a puss. Like he doesn't take the jokes very well. For someone who's a comedian, apparently, he doesn't take the jokes very well. He doesn't like it when people criticize him or say anything about him. I remember when Cabos, the YouTuber, made a video about him, he admitted to like actually crying about it and being like so upset about it and everything. So Def Noodles, with situations kind of like that and other situations where he's just acted like a bitch about things has kind of built up this community reputation that is pretty negative, right? Like a lot of YouTubers don't like this guy because he's kind of deemed as one of those people, right? You know, you gotta watch out for him because he gets upset when you say anything about him. And another thing that he's also been known for is completely fucking butchering the stories that he covers on his channel, and he's also been known for either accidentally or purposefully making false allegations about people. Like in his content, he's had numerous...
Did you hear Amber Heard shit in Johnny Depp's bed and blame the dog? What the fuck? That's weird as hell.
Situations where he's just completely fucking...
I don't know
screwed up the
anything
details
about
on a story. He's
the
viewed
Amber
as, like,
Heard
a
and Johnny
reputable
Depp
news
stuff. So.
situation going on there, right? Like I've seen him quoted in some articles and stuff from actual mainstream publications.
I'm gonna say this is some pretty shitty background footage, bro.
But yet he has a reputation for like actually butchering the fucking details on stories, and he and Keemstar kind of don't get along. They haven't really historically. For a while now, they've been kind of going back and forth with one another. Primarily Def Noodles going at Keemstar. Like there was a point where, you know, 4 out of every 5 of his uploads was basically about Keemstar on his YouTube channel. But it all boiled to a head basically when Keemstar made a joke about Def Noodles being a child groomer. Now this joke was put on Twitter, and the reason that Keemstar made this joke was kind of to like point out the fact that Def Noodles has repeatedly gotten situations like this wrong where he's made just bullshit comments about people or basically ended up making false accusations about people through his content and stuff like that. It was a joke. That's what it was, right? Well, Def Noodles for months has been basically complaining about this and fucking just holding on to it, just clutching this pearl as hard as he can. And now he's announced that he's actually suing Keemstar for it, basically for...
Oh yeah, we have the actual screenshot here. So it's United States Direct Court, Western District of New York, Dennis Feitosa, plaintiff, versus Daniel M. Keem, defendant. So he's filing this in New York, where Keem lives, because I believe Dennis lives in LA. Or maybe Dennis is also in New York. But Buffalo is in Western New York, so it seems like he's filing it where Keem is. Plaintiff Dennis Feitosa. Feitosa or plaintiff through his attorneys. So 3 attorneys. Complains that defendant Keem as follows. The action arises out of defendant's entirely fabricated statements that underage girls accused plaintiff of grooming plaintiff's victim, which gave the clear implication that plaintiff has engaged in pedophilic activities or was subject to accusations of engaging in pedophilic grooming. Defendant has since then admitted these were complete fabrications. Now, something interesting about this. Okay, I'm gonna go a bit off course with the Optimus video. He might end up covering this, but I just want to like make sure this is shown, right? So Def Noodles at the end of his maybe I should just go straight to his channel, but Kavos clipped it here. Whatever. Def Noodles says he's suing Keemstar at the end of his newest video, and this is exactly what he said in it.
I am suing Keemstar. Now, for those of you who started following me recently and are not aware, nearly 1 year ago, Keemstar knowingly published false and defamatory allegations against me. He claimed I groomed numerous underage girls. Keemstar has since confessed twice to fabricating these allegations to punish me. He has never officially retracted these allegations, nor has he ever corrected them.
He never retracted or corrected them, but in the defense, it says defendant admitted these were complete fabrications. Defendant has admitted that these were complete fabrications, but then he says he never corrected the record. That those things are mutually exclusive. You can't admit that they were false and then also not correct the record, because by admitting they're false, that's correcting the record, right? It doesn't make any sense. He even says that in this clip, and I quote tweeted it and like pointed that out. Like it just... He says Keem admitted it twice, but then he says Keem never corrected the record. It literally doesn't make sense. And parties. Plaintiff is a neutral person in Los Angeles, California. Okay, so he is in California. Defendant is in New York.
slander / defamation for causing damage to his brand and whatnot. He announced it in a video today, plus some of the legal papers.
Also, the tweet says allegedly. Does the tweet with Keemstar say allegedly? I know Tipster pointed... Tipster showed the lawsuit. Yeah, it does say allegedly. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I personally, don't agree that Keem should have tweeted this. I definitely wouldn't have tweeted this if I were in his position at the time. And I do think this tweet is these set of tweets are kind of shitty. But legally and logically, Dennis doesn't have any case. He's literally wasting money with this lawsuit. There's no way he wins. Especially considering all the stuff he's said about Keem that is false, right? Like, the countersuit that Keem would have against this guy if he does do his due diligence would be insane. It would be way more effective than what Dennis is even going after Keem for now. So Dennis has to be stupid. He has to be delusional. Like, even if you hate Keem, and you think that he did do all this stuff and you fully believe in the lawsuit, actually going through with it, like, you gotta know that it won't work. Like, because even on top of all the facts, Keem has a lot more money than you, right? Like, it's just stupid. He's going to lose. He's going to lose money. I don't know why he's doing it.
Paper ended up on Twitter. We're going to take a look at the video first. It's pretty short, so go ahead and take a look.
Anyway, folks, as you read in the title of the video, I am suing Keemstar. Now, for those of you who started following me recently and are not aware, nearly 1 year ago, Keemstar knowingly published false and defamatory allegations against me. He claimed I groomed numerous underage girls. Keemstar has since confessed twice to fabricating these allegations to punish me. He has never officially retracted these allegations, nor has he ever corrected them. These allegations have caused me great harm.
Literally, the sentence right after is a contradiction. Also, listen to what he says here. Let me rewind a little bit.
Retracted these allegations, nor has he ever corrected them. These allegations have caused me great harm socially and professionally. I am now suing him to clear my name of these false allegations.
It has caused him great harm socially and professionally. How many people off that tweet actually thought, especially after everything was cleared up by Dennis on his channel, in multiple times, how many people actually thought that he did those things? And how many of those people were actually people who are working with him in a business sense? Like, did sponsors see that shit and stop sponsoring him? I don't know, honestly, but his professional career doesn't really seem like it was affected that much. He's been continuing to grow since then. Pretty much all of the public knows that stuff against Dennis isn't true. Maybe for the first few days or hours that tweet was up by Keemstar, they did, but now definitely they don't. I mean, he got onto the H3 podcast, which was probably the biggest appearance, the biggest audience he's been in front of ever, and that was post this happening. So I really don't see how this affected his professional career at all. But I mean, I'm not Dennis. Maybe it did. If he can show actual physical proof within the lawsuit or on YouTube that with like stats and like prove it, then I'd be, or like emails where he's like rejected from something because of these allegations. I would love to know about it.
Allegations, and to hold him accountable for knowingly making false accusations. And now, palate cleanser.
All right, so he claims that Keemstar, through making this joke about him, has caused him social and financial damages, right? So I kind of want to talk about that. So I don't know what social damages he's referring to, considering everybody that I know who doesn't like Def Noodles doesn't like him for completely different reasons. I've never heard anyone be like, man, fuck Def Noodles, bro. Did you hear he grooms children? Keemstar said it. I've literally never never once heard anyone say that. Like, out of all the YouTube creators I've ever talked to or seen, like, make a video about him or a tweet about him or anything, really, it's been because this guy acts like a massive pussy whenever he's criticized or called out for doing anything. Or because he's known for doing what Keemstar joked about doing and makes slanderous and bullshit statements about other people through his content and his social media outlets. So I guess to Def Noodles here, like, when he does it and when he constantly shits on people and causes literal creates actual defamation claims through his content by making legitimate claims about creators that aren't true, makes legitimate claims about people that aren't true, it's okay for him to do. But when Keemstar does it and does it jokingly to basically poke fun at him doing this, all of a sudden it's slanderous and defamatory. So the way I see it, either Def Noodles is admitting that on multiple occasions throughout his career he's literally fucking slandered creators, or he's saying that his case has actually zero basis whatsoever. He goes on to state that financial damages were caused, which by the way are so hard to prove in a court of law. Like, to actually prove you've been financially impacted by a claim like this, he's gonna have to legitimately prove that, you know, somehow through Keemstar making this joke, all of a sudden he actually lost money. So considering Def Noodles' main income, I'm gonna assume, is probably YouTube, I went to Social Blade to take a look at like his views and his subscribers and stuff by month to see if, like, based on what Keemstar said, there was some sort of crazy decline or drop off. As you can see, his monthly gained subscribers started declining around like July 2020, and there's been a few spikes, of course, ever since then, but I'm gonna go ahead and assume that this isn't due to Keemstar. And his video views have been very, very consistent. I'll give him that. He's averaging well around 4 million views a month without a problem. So the only month where he didn't do so is when he deleted 7 million views worth of content in September 2020. So, I mean, it wasn't like his channel was destroyed by these claims or he lost like a significant portion of his viewers or anything like that. So I'm pretty sure he's not gonna be able to prove that part in court. And I really doubt that YouTube changed his CPMs or changed like the amount of money that he was making through his content due to these claims either. The only thing I can really think that he can argue is that he quote unquote lost sponsors or something like that. And even then, proving that you lost sponsors due to one situation is so hard, because oftentimes, like, if you even ask a sponsor, hey, why are we not working together? They're not going to tell you the actual reason, right? I find it really hard to believe that sponsors were like, hey, Keemstar said this guy is a child groomer, we can't work with him. Like, using basic common sense, that just doesn't sound like reality. It just...
Yeah, it doesn't, but that would be like the only thing that he could really use to prove damages. I don't think there's like no way to legally make the correlation between the AdSense and the claim with Keemstar, because the drop off in views could have been for any factor. There's no way to prove that it was based off what Keem said. Now, if he has emails from sponsors being like, we're dropping you because of this, and then they specifically mention the allegations that Keem made, the false allegations that Keem made, then he has it. But I don't know if he does have that.
This doesn't sound like something that's going to happen. So I don't know how he's going to prove social damages, and I don't know how he's going to prove financial damages, because the social damages really didn't come from that. They came from his own actions, from his own personal fuck-ups. So it just doesn't sound like this case really has any legal basis, right? Like, when you're suing somebody for something like slander or defamatory comments like what Def Noodles is suing him for, and keep in mind, I'm no lawyer, but you have to actually be able to prove without a shadow of a doubt that that's what actually happened, right? That, like, them saying whatever they said or making whatever comments they made actually caused significant damages. And there's just, I don't see a way for Def Noodles to prove that there was any sort of actual damages caused here. I don't see how this is going to get proved in a court of law. Keep in mind, people have sued Keemstar before, and they've gotten their asses handed to them in court. Like, this guy has the money to hire a good legal team. You're not suing just any old Joe Schmo from the block with 10K subs. Keemstar is actually a legitimate force in the YouTube community, and he's been in lawsuits before. He has the legal experience, he has a good legal team around him, and he's definitely going to fight these claims. He's not just going to settle out of court or do some bullshit like that. And I'm pretty sure last time Keemstar got sued by somebody, he literally took their YouTube play button as part of the settlement. So I guess if Def Noodles wants to contribute to Keemstar's YouTube play button collection, this would be a good lawsuit, but otherwise I just don't...
Yeah, I think Keemstar has won 2 lawsuits so far that resulted in him taking YouTube play buttons. So this would be his 3rd. And I think he'll get it. I think he'll get it for sure.
don't really see how this one's gonna go over well for Def Noodles.
Unless,
On top of that,
unless there's still a chance for Def to drop it himself. I don't know how the legal process works. I don't know if he went past a line where now he can't back out. But the only way he's not going to lose his play button is if he can back out.
this is another one of those things that's causing that social damage that you're fucking talking about. What do you think YouTubers are gonna think of you because you're fucking suing somebody for making a joke about you on Twitter, right? Like, what do you think people are gonna think, right? Like, do you think people are gonna fucking support that? I'm pretty sure people are not just gonna be cool with you doing some shit like this, right? Like, even from, like, the public reaction I've seen.
Yeah, like, I don't even know if H3 supports this. Like, Keemstar said a lot more, you know, bad things about Ethan in comparison to DefNoodles that could maybe have legal action taken against it. I definitely think if Ethan took Keem to court for defamation, he would lose. But I think he would definitely have more of a case than DefNoodles has. And even with him having more of a case in mind, even Ethan is not stupid enough to do this shit. So I don't know, like, if Ethan comments about this on his channel, I hope he does. I don't even know if he would support DefNoodles in the sense that it's smart to do this and that he would win. I'm sure he would support DefNoodles in the sense that he wants Keemstar to, like, you know, get sued and suffer, and he wants DefNoodles to win. But I don't know if he actually thinks DefNoodles will win, or if this is smart, because this is definitely, like, dumb, even from a selfish, like, anti-Keem perspective. This lawsuit is retarded. So I'm really curious to see what Ethan says about it if it's covered on this podcast.
Seen so far, the initial public reaction, it's been overwhelmingly in favor of Keemstar, except for the comments on Def Noodles' video, and even then, they probably don't even know the full situation. They just hear this Def Noodles guy say, oh yeah, he slandered me. Yeah, he made defamatory comments about me. They don't know that it was a joke on Twitter that you basically fucking are self-admitting that you're guilty of. If Keemstar is guilty of slander and defamatory comments for making a joke about you fucking up stories all the time, then you're legitimately guilty of defamatory comments and slander against however many creators you've bullshitted a story on now. Realistically, it seems more like Def Noodles is opening himself up and making himself more vulnerable. It seems like this is supposed to be one of those tough guy moves where you're really standing up for yourself, but it surely doesn't come across that way, man. I don't know, man. I just really don't see this going well for Def Noodles. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching.
Well, you said Def Noodles is Ethan's too tied up with the Ryan Kavanaugh case to help Def. Yeah, but even if that's the case, even if he wasn't tied up with a court case, I don't think he would help Def, because it's just stupid. Like, I feel like Ethan has to realize that Def Noodles is going off the rails a little bit. Like, with this and then calling Rich Lux a Nazi. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, I haven't talked to, like, H3 or anybody close to him about it. The only really connection I have to H3, like, secondhand would be, like, Starkilla, but I haven't even talked with Starkilla about any of this shit. I typically just don't, because it's like, I don't know. But yeah, I don't think Ethan has to be realizing that Def Noodles is going crazy. Like, yo, thank you so much for the sub, Kisvio Priv. I don't know how to say your name. I'm guessing it's like Cassio Private or Cassio. I don't know. But thank you so much for the sub.
If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new.
Okay, so the video's done. Let's take a look at the actual lawsuit, all right? Okay. So yeah, I don't know why Optimus didn't retract this part in his video. He really should have. Anyways, we read this page, page 2. That was my phone. I should probably turn the notification sound off. Let me do that. All right. Prosecution and controversy, because the amount in controversy exceeds $75,000 in the parties of citizens are in different states, with plaintiff being a citizen of California and defendant being a citizen of New York. Personal jurisdiction is preceded upon this. Is a resident of New York. California law applies to the claims brought by plaintiff. First, plaintiff was a citizen of California at the time of the defamatory statements were published. Second, defendant had knowledge that the plaintiff resided in California when he made the statements. Therefore, defendant knew the brunt of the harm would be felt in California. I don't think Keem was thinking that when he made the tweet, but alright. Plaintiff is a popular YouTuber personality who... LOL? Def Noodles? Popular? Who posts content under the name Def Noodles. Plaintiff also posts it on his Twitter and other social media accounts. He doesn't have a Twitter anymore. LOL? Defendant is a popular YouTuber personality who posts content under the name Keemstar. Defendant also posts on his Twitter and other social media accounts. Plaintiff and defendant are direct competitors in the social media influencer industry. I suppose. They don't really cover the same stories, though. Sometimes they do. On May 21st, 2021, on his verified Twitter account, defendant posted the following tweet of and concerning the plaintiff. The tweet is, Def Noodles has allegedly groomed girls from ages 12 to 15. Big YouTuber source. Victims are scared of him and wish to stay anonymous, but may come forward soon. Hashtag drama alert. Def Noodles has declined to give us a comment on these allegations made against him. It continues. These statements were complete and utter fabrications. There was no allegations by any girls underage or not that plaintiff had groomed them or otherwise engaged in inappropriate conduct of sexual nature. Moreover, contrary to defendant's false claims, neither defendant or anyone acting on defendant's behalf made any attempt to seek comment on the fabricated allegations. To the contrary, defendant blocked plaintiff on Twitter, ensuring that he would have no ability to publicly respond to defendant's fabricated claims. Those who read and commented on the tweet clearly understood it as stating actual verifiable facts about plaintiff. For example, the next day on May 22nd, a user on Twitter with the handle Memelin, dude, did Def Noodles go through every single response and try to find any that would indicate that Keem might have been telling the truth, even if it's a joke? Holy shit, that is really excessive. So Memelin responded to the tweet and stated, "Showing them girls his little noodles." Could have been just a joke. Another user with the handle Chris Minecraft YouTube posted, "So Def Noodles might be a pedophile?" Question marks. He's questioning it. He's just questioning it. Plaintiff has also received direct messages and tweets asking him to comment on the false allegations in the tweet. Thank you so much for gifting a sub, man. I appreciate that. It's awesome. And expressing that they understood the tweet to make the accusation that the plaintiff was subject of the allegations of grooming underage girls for sex and was involved in pedophilia. The day of the tweet, a user with the handle AlyssaXXY tweeted, "Hopefully mainstream media picks up on this. Can't have another pedo running around this platform." So that one probably... See, I can see Alyssa actually believing that stuff. But now, I doubt she believes it now, with all the stuff that's come out since then. Again, I really don't agree with Keemstar making the tweet about Def Noodles, but I just don't think Def Noodles has any powerful enough claims against Keemstar in relation to that tweet to win the lawsuit. But I don't like that Keemstar made that tweet, for the record. I also don't like a lot of the stuff Def Noodles says, obviously. Like calling Rich Lux a Nazi and lying about me and lying about Keem and a bunch of other people. Like, Def Noodles is definitely worse than Keemstar, but I don't like the tweet Keemstar made, for the record. Other tweets called for an official investigation and to believe the victims, but the truth was there was nothing to investigate. There was no victims, not even alleged ones, and defendant knew this. Yet he allowed his lies to spread like wildfire around social media while remaining silent. I don't really think it spread like wildfire around social media, but I guess that's subjective. Although plaintiff tried to defend himself on his own accounts, the social media following is not as broad as the defendant's. His efforts were not able to illuminate the harm done by defendant's malicious disinformation campaign. So, obviously, you know, Drama Alert's a bigger platform than DefNoodles, but in terms of how many people viewed that specific tweet from Keemstar versus his total views from videos talking about the situation, I would imagine it's even, or actually there's more views from DefNoodles defending himself than from Keemstar accusing. Because DefNoodles has talked more about this tweet than Keemstar has talked about DefNoodles allegedly being pedo or what have you. Anyways, as such, plaintiff's reputation was injured per se because of false allegations of criminal conduct. Okay. Doesn't he have to show proof of that, though? I'm curious if he actually does later in the document. So it continues. Maybe there will be proof. Plaintiff suffered, per se, reputational injury as a result of false and defamatory tweet. Apparently, realizing that he was going to be sued for defamation, defendant then engaged in ill-fated and thinly veiled attempt to prerequisitarily argue that the tweet everyone understood as a legitimate report regarding plaintiff's victims of sex crimes on February 5th, 2022. He tweeted a confession in where he admitted the tweet was a fabrication, a total fabrication, the confession. Don't you, at Nicholas Diorio and Banished Journo, don't you remember he kept posting non-stop fake pedo stories on YouTubers? So I posted this tweet to mock him in May 2021. Everyone knows this is a joke that I'm mocking him, but he is now taking it completely out of context, acting like it's a serious allegation. Also, and then he said, he just linked the tweet that he made in May. After seeing responses to the tweet taking it seriously, defendant nearly 8 months later issued the confession claiming everyone knew it was a joke, but defendant knew that people did not read it as a joke, as evidenced by responses to the tweet. Defendant did nothing to clarify or correct that false statement in the tweet until many months later, after the damage had been done. Not only that, but in the confession, defendant doubled down on the false claims the plaintiff had declined to comment to defendant on the false allegations. In doing so, defendant left open the possibility to the plaintiff's failure to address the joke allegations might mean perhaps there was a kernel of truth to the false allegations. Although defendant's confession was a jailhouse lawyer attempt at immunizing himself from liability for defamation, in reality it constitutes conclusive evidence of his actual malice as to the truth of the tweet. Plaintiff now brings his actions to recover actual compensatory and exemplary/punitive damages against defendant. First cause of action. Libel per se. Plaintiff repeats the allegations in paragraph 1 through 22 above. As described above, defendant made false statements of fact expressly and or implicitly as follows. That there were actual underage girls in the ranging from 12 to 15 who had accused plaintiff of grooming them for illicit sexual purposes. So even though Keemstar allegedly, I guess he's not saying that Keem lied about saying that DefNoodles is grooming underage girls. He says that Keem is lying about the accusation in itself, which is kind of true, that was a lie. Actually, it was true, not kind of. These girls were victims, which implied that wrongful conduct had in fact been committed against these girls by plaintiff of criminal, pedophilic, and sexual nature. These girls were scared of plaintiff, suggesting plaintiff had threatened or coerced them into silence, and plaintiff had declined to comment on these very serious accusations lodged against him, all of which are lies, of course. Ordinarily, reasonable readers of Twitter of the tweet understood the tweet to be stating these actual facts, expressed or implicitly, about plaintiff, and the ordinary reasonable reader would not read these statements as rhetorical, hyperbolic, or satire. How do you prove that? Literally, how do you prove that, though? Defendant intended these ordinary reasonable readers of the tweet to draw the above referenced conclusions, inferences, and impressions from the tweet. These conclusions, inferences, and impressions are defamatory per se because they accuse plaintiff of the commission of a crime by involvement in pedophilic grooming of underage girls, which plaintiff refused to comment on. Defendant never raised a finger to clarify or correct the tweet to ensure readers knew it was a joke, even though he knew the public at large did not read the tweet as a joke, but rather as a serious claim of criminal misconduct. Defendant, in fact, has admitted that he intended these conclusions, inferences, and impressions to be drawn from the tweet, claiming that he did so to mock plaintiff for allegedly making up fake pedo allegations against others. I don't know if that's true. So he said he admitted that he intended these conclusions to be drawn from the tweet. I don't think he admitted that he intended these conclusions to be drawn from the tweet. I don't know how you can prove that. In doing so, defendant admits that he intended/endorsed the impression from the tweet to be drawn that the plaintiff was accused of and had, in fact, been engaging in pedophilia. Defendant also admitted that he knew that defamatory statements in the tweet were false and they were made. Defendant therefore admits to making the tweet with actual malice as to falsity of the defamatory claims in the tweet. A lot of this seems super repetitive. I feel like I've read a lot of bad lawsuit attempts with documents like these. I forgot what they're called, like initial documents or what have you. Mainly from Ryan Kavanaugh, and always whenever they're bad or really flimsy, they just seem to like repeat a lot of things and just say that there's proof without necessarily showing it. If there's like a response document, I don't really know how legal stuff goes, but if there's like a response document and it's posted publicly from like Keemstar's lawyers, like written in this style, I would love to eventually see it. Yo, Papa Guts, thanks so much for the sub. How you doing? All right, continuing on with this. Because defendant's tweet and the defamatory allegations therein are accusations of criminal conduct, pedophilia, and grooming, reputational injury to plaintiff is presumed, and his reciprocal injuries exceeded $75,000. So what he's saying is that this tweet from Keemstar cost him $75,000. Either Def Noodles is retarded, or he actually has like $75,000 worth of sponsors who reached out to him and said that they are denying his sponsorship specifically because of these allegations. That's the only way that he can prove this number. And $75,000 is a lot. I don't even think I've made $75,000 out of all my sponsors that I've ever had. And I've had sponsors for almost 2 years pretty consistently. So, keep in mind I have a smaller channel, but still, like, it doesn't even come close to this number. It might come close to, like, 10,000 or something like that. And we hit our goal. Thank you so much, Melting Mischief. I like your username. There's no way that this works. This lawsuit works. Moreover, plaintiff have suffered severe mental anguish from the defendant's false allegations of pedophilia, grooming, and seeks readiness for these injuries. Wait! Maybe he didn't lose the $75,000 from sponsors. Maybe he spent $75,000 on therapy since this accusation happened. Could you spend $75,000?
Def Noodles is innocent. We are very good friends.
Thank you, Jeffrey Epstein. Thank you for that info. Oh my god. It's a joke! That isn't actually Jeffrey. He's dead. Jeffrey Epstein's dead. Allegedly. Is it possible to spend $75,000 on therapy within a year? I know therapy is probably roughly like $100 an hour, and if you go every week for an hour, in a year, that'd add up to maybe like around $5,000, $6,000. I don't know how you could spend $75,000 on therapy unless you purposely went to therapy a lot. Do you think DefNoodles saw this tweet and then decided to do this elaborate plan to go to therapy, to excessively go to therapy to rack up $75,000 on it so he could later do this lawsuit and get money from Keemstar? Do you think that's his ultimate plan? That's really conspiratorial. I don't think that's the case. I personally don't think that's the case, by the way. I'm just bringing it up because I thought of that scenario in my head. I really genuinely don't think that's the case, but it would be interesting if it was. But I really don't think that's the case. For the record, I don't think that's the case at all. And I'm not claiming that that's the case. It's just a wild theory I came up with in my head right now. Wherefore, plaintiff Dennis Feitosa respectfully demands judgment against defendant Daniel Keem, A, awarding compensatory damages in the amount proven at trial in excess of $75,000 plus interest, awarding mental anguish damages in amount proven at trial of $75,000 plus interest. So I think he's saying that with sponsors and therapy in total, it's $75,000. Maybe he does have enough therapy bills racked up to prove that, and maybe he does have emails of sponsors saying that that tweet is the reason. He's like that. But doesn't he have to prove that he was talking specifically with the therapist about that tweet for the full $75,000-ish that he went to therapy for? Because I can't imagine he went to that much therapy just for that tweet. He probably talked about a bunch of other shit. Because if Def Noodles is really mentally anguished by the stuff that's going on online, which I don't necessarily doubt, I doubt it comes solely from that tweet. He was having mental issues with being online prior to that, hence the video he made about Kavos bullying him, which was prior to all of this. Anyways, awarding punitive / exemplary damages for defendants' wrongful and malicious conduct, and granting such other and further relief as court deems proper, together with costs, attorney fees, and disbursements of this action. Plaintiff demand for jury trial. Plaintiff demands trial by jury on all issues. So terrible. Dated yesterday. Does this go to trial? Keem can stop this from going to trial with a good response, right? Or does it just have to go to trial regardless? Either way, Keem's gonna win, obviously. But if it goes to trial and that trial's recorded, that'd be super fucking funny. I would love to see that. Maybe Nick Rekieta covering it. I doubt that will happen, though. So that's the Def Noodles thing. Interesting. Let me see if I can find the other post of this to see if there's anything I missed. The law.com one. I'm going to the official source. Get started for free. I have to subscribe. Oh, we have Ricky's response to it.
What
the fuck?
I agree. Anyways, that's going to be it for the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to watch another stream, I think Keemstar's stream with Andy is still possibly going on. Oh no, it ended. But it's 57 minutes. You can go watch that if you want. If you don't want to, I will try and find someone to raid. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. This will be re-uploaded to Bowblax Beta shortly, so if you did miss any portion of it, be sure to subscribe over there. And for now, I'm gonna find someone really quick to raid. Alright, we're raiding Ellis Mark. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to follow me on my Twitch so you don't miss any more streams in the future. And I will see you another day. Dashboard. All right. Have a good night, everybody, or rest of your day.